raising awareness. Hi, Nicole. How are you? Um, so I'm going to try to keep this fairly quick. Um, After this, there's actually a really cool event going on that I'll talk about towards the end. It's an online event that everyone is welcome. You just need the invitation link, which I'm going to post after this is done recording. So I'm just going to wait one more minute and pop on here, get everything situated. So today I'm going to be talking about not just anxiety, but raising awareness about mental health. And I'm going to talk a little bit about how you can identify some of the signs as to when an individual is experiencing anxiety or depression at a level that is not just stress. Hey, Christine, how's it going? So, whether or not you experience anxiety or know what those emotions feel like, and whether or not you've ever experienced depression personally, I can guarantee that you know someone or have been in contact with someone who is currently struggling with it or who has struggled with it in the past. So this is great for anyone. I think this is a really important conversation, not just for young people, but for parents, for teachers, for people who are interacting with people on a daily basis. So I'm going to go ahead and get started, and I encourage you to share this with anyone who you feel would benefit from this. Again, the point of this talk is really to raise awareness and to teach you a little bit about some of the signs that maybe we are missing. I've also spoken to several women in the past couple of weeks, some of whom didn't know if what they were experiencing was anxiety. They hadn't really thought too much about it. But as we dug deeper into the conversation and talked about some of the things that they were going through, we realized, hey, this is not just stress. This is not just like normal daily stress. So there are a couple of things that we can look out for. And I just want to say real quick, I am not a licensed medical professional. All of this information is based on research that I've done and, most importantly, on my own personal experiences, talking with doctors about my own disorder and just experiencing it, myself. So the first big sign that someone might be experiencing anxiety or depression, because they are so closely tied, is excessive self-perpetuating worry. So I'm sure you're all listening to this thinking, well, we all worry about stuff, right? It's normal to worry. It's normal to be concerned. But here's the difference. When you have, let's say, like general anxiety disorder, your worrying is taken to the max. You are not just worried about like normal things on a daily basis. Oh, am I going to get out of the house on time? Or, oh my gosh, I've got so much to do at work today. What if I don't get it done? This worry lingers, and oftentimes it's surrounding certain topics. So for example, I first knew that I had something that was bigger than stress because I was constantly worried about myself and people around me dying or getting hurt. There was no logical reason as to why I should have been worrying about that. I had not at that point experienced any sort of significant trauma. I had been in a car accident, and that certainly leveled up the anxiety, but I had been experiencing this from a very young age where I was so afraid that I was going to lose someone close to me. And this was completely self-perpetuating and it lingered constantly. Another form of this one is very common, is people being afraid that they're going to end up alone. So whether you are in a relationship with someone and it's going really well, but you just have this constant narrative in the back of your head where you're thinking, things are going too well. Something bad is going to happen. He's going to cheat on me. I'm going to mess up. There's no way, like something's going to happen. What's going to happen? What's going to happen? And it's like you can't enjoy what it is that you have. Drop me a comment if any of this resonates with you. Drop me a 1 if you have experienced that type of worry where maybe it wasn't warranted, but it was lingering and it started to seep into other areas of your life where you're creating a narrative in your head that doesn't exist and you're not really sure how to make it stop. Drop me a 1 if you have ever felt that way. Another example of this is people having this fear of uncertainty, right? We all kind of have this commonality where we wish that we can control more things in our lives, right? So the uncertainty factor is normal, it's natural, except when it is long lasting and you're experiencing that concern on a daily or weekly basis. So this is all stuff that a normal person will worry about from time to time, but you know that it's something bigger when it's frequent and when it's impacting your life. So let's say it's the weekend, right? You've been so excited because Saturday's coming and you've got all these fun plans. Then Saturday comes and all you're thinking about is Monday. You're stressed about Monday. Your head is already 2 days ahead into Monday thinking about, I have to get up for work. Oh my God, I hate my job. I don't want to go to my job. I've got so much work to do. And it's like your brain is always a few steps ahead of you, so you're never able to fully be present and enjoy the moment. Drop me a 2 if you have ever experienced that type of worry, where you cannot stay in the moment because your mind is always 10 steps ahead of you. So that's the first thing. And this is a very big sign for people who have general anxiety disorder. It also appears as a form of self-doubt. Okay, so self-doubt is another huge, huge sign. Again, this is leveling it up. This is all like a level up from the normal or the average. So if you know someone who seems like when you guys go out, they're not fully there, or when you talk to this person, they're constantly talking about the negative things in their life, the things that they're worried about. It's almost like every conversation is just a negative venting session. That might be a sign that this person is experiencing anxiety. Another thing is sleep. Your sleep patterns are messed up. You're constantly fatigued. I used to have to nap every single day for at least an hour. It became an addiction. I was so tired 24/7. It didn't matter if I slept until 10 o'clock on a Saturday. My fatigue was so strong. I was drinking up to 4 cups of coffee a day because I needed something to physically keep me awake. I was falling asleep driving to and from work in the car. There were times when I literally almost got in what would have been a fatal accident because I fell asleep driving. And it got really scary. And this happens to a lot of people. So if you know someone who is always tired, who's constantly fatigued, who wakes up frequently in the middle of the night, who can't fall asleep, their thoughts are constantly running and it's like they're never well rested, that is a sign of anxiety. The next one, any sort of muscle tension that is frequent. So this manifested in me through clenched jaw. I noticed a couple of years ago, and actually I didn't notice it, but my now husband noticed it when we first started dating, and he would sleep over. he noticed that I was chomping in the middle of the night. And then over time, it got so bad that I would wake myself up because I was biting down so hard on my teeth. So now I have to wear a night guard. And when I would get anxious, I noticed that everything along here would just tense up, and it was almost like I was chewing on something. It's really weird, and I don't control it. It's my body reacting to my stress. So sometimes this manifests as clenched jaw. Other times you'll see people clenching their fists like this. If you notice that someone in social situations, let's say in school or you're at a party or at a restaurant, and they're constantly wringing their hands, they're going like this, or they're clenching their fists, or they're doing something with their wrists, that is a sign of anxiety. That is a sign of intense stress. It's manifesting itself in the way that their body is performing. Same thing with the neck. If there's constant neck tension, that's another sign. Something else. There's so many signs, guys. Nausea. Now that might seem like, well, duh, if you're stressed, you're going to get nauseous. Honestly, I don't think that I experience nausea as like a symptom of my anxiety, but I do know people who will feel nauseous when their body is going into fight or flight mode. So when their body feels like it has to protect them against something. And it can be the simplest thing. It could be going to a job interview and your body is saying, ooh, like this is a scary situation. There's uncertainty here, and it's actually impacting your digestive system and is making you feel nauseous. This can also come about as indigestion. So drop me a 3 if you're comfortable admitting to this. Drop me a 3 if you have some sort of digestive disorder that you're not sure where it came from. I will be totally transparent, and I have been before, that I have irritable bowel syndrome. A lot of women have IBS, and it's a gut sensitivity, and it can be brought about by anxiety and by stress. So when I went to the doctor and the doctor thought that I had Crohn's disease or celiac, he was testing me for both. He asked me, if I was stressed or anxious. And I said, well, I have GAD. I have general anxiety disorder. And he was like, oh, that is why you are experiencing such intense pain in your stomach and you're having these flare-ups constantly because you're so stressed. What are you stressed about? And it was embarrassing because I couldn't really explain to him. I had a stressful job, so that was one thing. But what else? What else? And I was like, I don't know. Guys, here's a little, going off my list for a second, here's just a little tidbit. And if you have anxiety, you know this to be true. A lot of times people who have anxiety or depression have no idea how to explain it to you. Because sometimes we don't know why the symptoms are there. So if you're having an anxiety attack, which is the next symptom here, if you have panic attacks, and somebody is trying to figure out why you're feeling that way, a lot of times we don't know. I don't know. Amanda, why are you crying? Why are you so upset? Why are you shaking? Why are you sweating? I have no idea. My body is reacting to my anxiety. That's why. And I can't control it. So that's just a little tidbit that, if you know someone who's going through this, then it might be hard for you to relate or to understand. Hi, Michelle. Hey, Evan. Hi, Mom. So yeah, that's just something that you should know. And if you are struggling with anxiety, I want you to know that that is totally normal. If you don't understand what your body is doing or why your mind is acting the way it's acting, that's normal. That's normal for somebody who's struggling with anxiety. I felt that way all the time, where I would break down. I would have an emotional meltdown or a panic attack where my heart was palpitating, I was sweating, and you get the feeling of, I can't catch my breath. Well, why are you feeling that way? Just calm down, just calm down. But I didn't know. I don't know. Why am I feeling that way? And it turns out, guys, that a lot of the reasons why we feel that way are it's based on fears and things that we've been conditioned to feel over time that are just exploding in these moments of emotional outbursts. That's what it is. Hey, Kimberly, how you doing? So the other thing is somebody who is a perfectionist. If you know someone or if you yourself are a perfectionist, that is a sign of anxiety. It's the need to be in control. So drop me what number are we on? Drop me a 4 if you are a perfectionist or if you know someone who is a perfectionist. So this looks like a lot of different things to different people. For me, it's always been regarding cleanliness. So if I walk past a table, let's say, and all of the books are kind of like jumbled or there's a bunch of papers laying around, I have to go over and I have to make sure that everything is nice and neat and everything is symmetrical. If you looked around my house, it usually, I'm not bragging here, it usually looks like it's come straight out of a magazine, and that's not because I'm trying to show face, though I do love design. It's because in my mind, everything has to be just right. That perfectionism often carries over into people's jobs. Something really important, and this is something I cannot stress enough, for those of you who have children or who work with teenagers or kids or who are in the school system, whatever, or even just those of you who have friends, which all of you do, the person who seems like they have it all together, the person who is always striving to achieve, who is constantly getting good grades and who studies a lot and who seems to just be doing everything just right, sometimes that's the person who's struggling the most. And this is what drove me crazy when I was working in the school system was, we have to focus on the kids who are showing the signs, right? We focus on the people who are showing the signs, who are acting up, who are clearly depressed because they're so reserved or withdrawn. And we don't think to look at the other population of people who seem so in control and so successful and so happy and bubbly all the time, when a lot of times it's that person who has anxiety and depression. And I'm not saying it's not the other people too, but that person does too. And this is one thing that I am so adamant about making people aware of, is that anxiety does not look like any one person or thing. The face of anxiety is not clear. And to wrap this up, I'll just give you a little insight into this. So, and hopefully this doesn't make my mom upset. Mom, I love you. I was and continue to be the person who strived to be good at everything. I was in charge or involved with almost every club in high school, even mathletes, even though I hated math and was so not good at it. I always wanted to strive to be the lead in the musical. I strived to get the straight A's. I worked my butt off to, be on the dean's list every semester, to graduate with honors. I always wanted to make sure that I looked perfect. My makeup was perfect. My hair had to be perfect. I was bubbly. I was outgoing. I had a million friends. Nobody ever would have guessed that I was struggling on a daily basis with anxiety, depression, my self-worth, my body image, all the things. Nobody was checking up on me to see if I was okay, because to everyone else, it looked like I was doing great, right? I was the model. I was the model for people to look up to. And I'm not saying this. This isn't what I thought about myself, by the way. This is what other people told me, and this is how other people viewed me. And I've met so many women and so many men too who hold themselves up here, right? They're constantly achieving, 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 but it's never enough. It's never enough. And they look from the outside like these goddesses, and they look like, oh my God, I want to be your friend. I want to learn everything about life from you. But they're the ones crying in their rooms at night. They're the ones who are struggling internally and have no idea what to do about it. So all of this is to say that there are signs. I don't want all of you to leave this call and start analyzing yourself and thinking, oh my God, do I have anxiety? Or like, oh my God, does this person have anxiety? But it's something to be mindful of. And my hope is that there's somebody on here, or that somebody is going to watch this, who has been struggling with their emotions and their thoughts and everything that's on the inside that you can't see, who is now going to think to themselves, hey, maybe it's not just stress. Maybe what I'm feeling is valid. And once you realize that, you should also realize that there's a way out of it. I broke out of that. And that doesn't mean that my symptoms are gone. It means that if the symptoms do pop up, I know how to handle them and I know how to make them dissipate. So I'm here. My job, my role in all of this is not just to, be a mentor. It's not just to give a voice to people who feel like they can't speak up about it, or to people who don't understand what's going on in their minds and in their bodies. I'm here to lead you out of that rut. So I'm going to say it again. If you yourself or someone you know has these signs, has these symptoms, and really wants to learn how to break free of this crap, please reach out to me. I have room in my schedule right now for a couple of more people who I would love to work with one-on-one. I've got some free call options open. If you're not ready to commit financially, drop me a message and I will schedule you in for a free call and we will start working on this together. Tomorrow I'm going to pop a quiz into my feed on this page that you can take, or that you can send to someone, or that you can use if you feel like you know people who are struggling with this. And I've said this a million times, and I know I sound like a broken record, but it's so important for these people and for you to know that you are not crazy. You are not a maniac. You do not need to be put into a mental institution. And I'm not saying this to be funny. These are all things that I have said out loud about myself and that I've heard other people say about themselves. It's not true. It's not true. More people struggle with anxiety on a daily basis than you can even imagine. So you're not crazy. Your emotions are valid and there is a way out. All right. So I'm going to head off of this call, switching gears a little bit. If anybody is interested, I'm about to hop into a free event on Zoom, and I have the link for it that I will drop in the comments right now. And this event is going to talk about healthy eating, plant-based diets, And why am I talking about this? Because actually, when I changed my diet, I noticed a significant reduction in my anxiety and depression symptoms. What you eat matters. So, if anyone's interested in learning more about the natural health revolution and how this can help you, I'm going to drop the link into this video right now. And you can join me on this call. There are going to be 2 doctors leading the call. It's going to be totally awesome. And again, maybe it's not for you, but maybe this information can help someone that you know and love. All right, so I'm going to pop that in. And that is that, guys. I went for longer as usual. I always talk way too long. But if this resonates with you, if you have any questions, please drop me a comment. I love the interaction. I live off of the interaction with you guys. So please, please talk to me. And I will be back on this Sunday for a guided meditation in my group, Anxious to Fearless. Join it if you are not in there. Love you guys so much. I will be on again soon. Bye.
Hey girl, thanks for your message. It was just so amazing. I had such a crazy, good vibrational day. I don't know how it happened because this week so far has just been nuts, and I was like, it doesn't seem to be getting any better. And it was like boom, boom, boom. Everything happened all at one time. I actually reached out to that girl who's a friend of mine. I sent her a text and I just said, thank you for your comments. I don't think you even understand the impact that it made. And I'm just so grateful to you for being that source of light for me. And thank you. Just expressing my gratitude towards her because I don't think she even realized the impact that she made for me today. And her response to me was that, she thinks that whatever I want to do, I should go for it. And that, basically she finds herself doing things that I do. Like she bought the gratitude journal that I have and she drinks lemon water in the morning now. And so she's kind of following suit, which is kind of insane, that I'm
That's so cool.